The monthly review of POA board actions is produced and presented by the volunteers at Tellico Village Broadcasting.
Hello, this is Bette Purvis, and I'm here again this month to do a POA board update. Today we have with us our president, Bruce Johnson, who is with us to give us an update of what happened in our August meeting. Am I correct?
That's right. How are you doing, Bette?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We have a lot to cover. You had a big meeting, I think.
Like I was saying earlier, we normally cover several months in one of these because we get behind, but this time it's just 1 month, but we have just about as much to cover as we do when we normally have one of these updates. So let's go.
Okay, so we're going to do finance, ACC, public works, golf.
Yeah, we are,
everything.
But before we do that, I want to go back and cover the POA board workshop that we had,
Okay,
which
the
was
workshop.
in early August, and then we'll come forward and cover the board meeting, which
Okay.
was just last week.
Okay.
Well, the biggest thing that we covered in the workshop, finally, we didn't have a lot to cover, so we took the opportunity to give the community an update on where we are with our board goals. We have several goals this year assigned to each board member. We went over those, gave progress as to where we were at the halfway point, and we're actually making very good progress. Our goals for this year are we want to complete the both conceptual and the engineering design and award the construction contract if the board agrees for the Tellico Clubhouse as well as the Kahidi Community Center. Tom is in charge of the Tellico one, and I am in charge of the for the goals for the Kahidi one, and we reported both we're on track, we're on date. As you'll see later for what I report on the board, both of those are in good shape and we're making progress. So we hope to have contracts awarded for those by the end of the year.
Oh, good.
We also heard from Rick Blau with regards to the covered docks. You know, last year we had that on our agenda, on our radar. We asked Rick to take that on to work with the dock committee. They did. They came back. Looks like the covered docks are not going to happen, but we are looking to come up with a plan for how to increase the number of slips that we have this year, I mean in 2019 and beyond. So we do know that we're short of slips, and Rick has come up with a plan they're working on as to how we're going to tackle that problem. And so he's making good progress on his goal as well.
Good, very good.
Bette, we had Cap Purvis address the Tenacity beautification program for our parking lot up there. We did some work with our golf and our parking lot a few years back, and we cut a lot of trees out.
Yes, we did.
Opened it up to the folks across the water. They're looking into a parking lot, so we want to do something there to soften that, and we're going to look into planting some trees and do some work up there, and that will be this fall during the planting season. That's, again, Cap Purvis is on that. He reported that out.
Good.
Pat White is working on the need for new parking, more parking spaces or more parking, as well as meeting space. Those two go hand in hand because of scheduling. If we had all of our meetings at one place, we would never have enough parking. So he's working on that, and he reported out his progress, and we hope to have that by the end of the year finished.
Oh, good.
And last but not least, Mike Collicone, working with Pat White, is working on ways to increase rounds of golf and revenue at our golf courses. They are now, as you're probably aware, there's a study out, and they're collecting data. They're coming up with some proposals for how we can increase rounds at our golf courses, and I think they've done a good job there. And so he reported that out, and they're making good progress. So all of the goals that we had this year, we're working toward, and it looks like we will have either they will be completed by the end of the year, or that we'll have a plan for how things are going to be completed relatively short period of time after that. Okay.
Great. So that's the workshop.
That was a workshop, and then we went right into a board meeting. We started off with some updates. We got an update from finance, ACC, public works, golf, long range planning, And then we had some business to do, and that was regards to approving like our new policy on political signs, and we approved a committee for the honors awards, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But that was basically what we did.
So we'll start with finance?
Yeah, we'll start with James Ivy. James Ivy came in and gave us a report. He said the month of July was great for us from a revenue perspective, and I think why is there was a lot of golf played, and so
good weather.
It was good weather, and so at that point in time, year-to-date revenue was at like close to 11.3 million, which is like 1% favorable to budget. So. And then James is really on top of it with his charts, as you well know if you've seen them, and he does a great job. A picture's worth 1,000 words.
That's what I was just going to say.
He lays it out there, and it's very self-explanatory, and so we're glad that James is doing that, and we'll add some more as we go, but basically he keeps us up to date on where we are with our expenditures and revenue.
What about Parker? Did
you want
Parker
me to do
tell
Parker?
us? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Parker, I think, contributed that day.
Yeah, he did. He always contributes. Parker's on top of his game, too.
Yes.
But basically, Parker went through and showed us where we are on year to date with expenditures. We're running a little bit behind because our paving and all that stuff is just now starting up, and we'll be doing AHA 5, which I'll cover. But basically, we're on track to have another good year with regards to our expenditures versus our budget. Although recently we have agreed, not agreed, the board agreed to make some out-of-budget expenditures, primarily up in the area of the wellness center, because we're replacing the dehumidifier up there. Rather expensive, but it needed to be done if we were going to get that building back in shape. So I'll cover that a little bit later too. But Parker then came before the board with several projects, maintenance and capital. The milling and paving of Sequoia Road and the Yacht Club parking lot. We went over that and covered that. And that is started, by the way.
Yes, it
has.
And
the board voted 7-0 to approve that and get that started. Preservation of our roads, you know, we instead of just paving, we try to extend the life of our roads, and we've come up with a product recommended by the TDOT as well as our advisors over in Nashville that we have working with us, and they recommended a product called HA5. It's black versus clear, and so we have started the HA5 preservation and sealing as well, and that again was approved by the board 7-0. So we're all about getting things done, and they brought it forward, but the weather is cooperating. We'll get all of this done, so hopefully soon. Last but not least, I talked to you a little bit about the dehumidifier. That was a capital project that was approved by the board so that we could go ahead, put that in there, and then follow up next year with the repairs that we might need to the roof and to any interior walls and things like that. That has nothing to do with what's going on now with the wellness center being closed. That is just normal wear and tear, replacing carpet, painting, getting in new equipment and all that stuff. What this will do is force us to close the pool area later on this year when that piece of equipment, the dehumidifier, is built for us. It's not one of these where you go down the store and buy it. It's one of these huge things that goes outside.
Custom made.
Exactly. And when that comes in, we'll have to close the pool area, and we'll put everybody on notice about that. So that's happening. Well, so anyway, Parker did well to keep us all updated on that. So.
Now, I understand the details of all of this is on the POA website that people can go to and view it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, our board minutes, once we go through and get them typed up and approved, they'll be out there too. But I think basically if you look at the telegram, I was looking at today, the telegram came out with board highlights. So what I'm talking to you about today, you can look there and see it in writing. So a lot of that's covered there, and it always is. So we try to communicate with the people. We want them to stay informed.
Right.
And if they have questions, we're always open to questions. All of our numbers are in the phone book, and so is our addresses. So,
That's true.
You know, it's like they used to say, keep the cards and letters coming, because that shows us you're interested in what's happening to the village, and we want very much to inform people and people to be informed, and we want them to work with us to make sure that this stays as great a place as it is.
Absolutely, it's our village.
It is. It's ours, all of us.
Yes,
Right.
so
Okay.
that we're very open to all of that,
Yes, we are.
including coming to meetings.
We love to have people come to the meetings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So next we'll do the ACC and Public Works. What's happening there?
Well, they're busy, as you can well tell, with all the paving and all that's going on. But the biggest thing is that you might have heard is that the ACC, so far this year, we've approved 89 new building permits.
It's amazing.
So we're growing like crazy, and we expect that number this year, I believe, it will exceed our budget. And so we'll see upward to 150 or so homes built this year, maybe, and or at least permits issued. And so that's just a good sign. But we all know, and the board's on top of it, trying to stay on top of it, is what's the impact of all this new influx of people? How does it affect our sewer system? How does it affect water? How does it affect our roads? How does it affect our amenities? You know, because
Right.
We've all kind of gotten used to all the amenities that we have, but you start jamming more people in those places, and won't handle it. So we need to know what we're going to do, and so.
Just go to a Friday night tiki bar and you see how many people are there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
It's
We
a
like
good
it.
thing.
We like it when the people come out. With regard to the independent living facilities down
Oh,
at
yes,
down at the neighborhood,
Yes.
they reported out and showed us pictures that shows the concrete and the footings and and the elevator shafts have already been poured and built,
Great.
and they're starting to frame the building, which means that pretty soon it's going to actually look like a facility instead of a lot of concrete. And all.
Right.
And so we keep asking them, are you on schedule? Are you on schedule? And basically right now they're reporting that they're going to open this place up July of 19. So just all I say is just keep going
less
by
than
there.
a year.
Yeah, and keep going by and looking, and we'll keep you updated. But right now we're glad to see that the framers are getting ready to start.
Good, good, good.
I mentioned earlier about the Tellico Clubhouse and Tom with his goal, and basically what's happening there is we approved the conceptual design this year. We awarded the engineering design contract. They're working on that now, and then I think they will be finished by that around the 1st of September here, early September.
Oh.
And then from that we'll go out with bids, and we'll get the pricing in. And if it's within reason and what we think it should be as compared to budget, we'll award a construction contract later this year, given things are still as they are now. Of course, as we go through the budget cycle, things change. But right now, our plan is to get construction for that new clubhouse started, awarded this year, with construction next year.
Okay.
Same thing on Kahiti. We completed the conceptual design and got that all approved. Went back, made some changes here and there, and met with the engineering design contractor, which is Upland Design, same as Toqua. And again, we look for that to be completed in September, with the contract going out for bids. Get the pricing back in, and then we'll bring it before the board. And if the board approves, we'll award that construction contract as well this year and get it started in 19 as well. So those two are just moving right along.
So both of them should be complete in 2019.
That's our plan.
Should be.
That's our plan. He did report out on the north entrance fountain. You know, you've seen it shut down several times,
we
and
have.
that's because we had a leak, and in that leak we were losing. Listen to this: we were losing about 500,000 gallons a month. So we were losing a lot of
my.
water there. It's beautiful and all, and it wasn't functioning properly. Had a leak. We shut it down, found the leak, sealed it, put it back up, tested it, emptied it again, did some more, and now we basically are operating with no leak. Although you see that water going up in the air with evaporation and all, we still lose about 5,000 4,500 gallons a month, which is not much comparatively speaking to 500,000. So,
Well, still, but it's working. I passed it this morning.
It is beautiful, and so we're glad for that. It's good marketing piece for us.
Oh, it is. It's a beautiful site.
I think over the years we've all gotten used to it. You know?
So we have, but it's
when it's down, we like, oh, what's wrong with this?
But it is such a beautiful site when the first time you come into the village.
It is very good.
Yep. Well, can we move on to golf?
Yes,
and
we're glad.
Tell us what Jim had to say at golf.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, July was a great month.
Yes.
The weather finally cooperated with us. We got a lot of rounds in, and basically here comes August with all the rain again. So golf around here is weather driven. One month you might just have an abundance of rounds. The next month you might not have many, but we've learned over time that to go with the ebb and flow and budget accordingly. So our golf is just basically good. Now the good thing about it is that July also gave us the time to get our repairs to the bunkers done over at Tenassi. It's a new product that we're putting in that drains very well. Jim showed us pictures of before and after of the way it was before, and they had like a, I don't remember what he said, something like a 15-minute rain or something like that, and everything was just washed out because it was a big rain.
Oh, yes.
Then he showed us a picture of the new ones with about the same amount of rain, or actually a little more, and you looked at it and it didn't look like it was changed at all. So this water just goes right through this product without washing. So it's kudos to our golf maintenance staff for coming up with this and doing the work, most of it by themselves, and it really, I think over time will save us a lot of money, and it will be more enjoyable for people playing, especially if they hit the bunkers. You know,
yes.
So that's right.
Well, they're a hard-working crew.
Cart path was done at Tellico, and if you've had the opportunity to look at that, it just really looks good, good and wide, smooth. They took out a lot of the roots and stuff of that nature, so they smoothed them out, got that done, and it really looked good. It really was done on schedule and in budget. They are looking at a couple things other than what the advisory committee is looking at as far as, you know, increase in rounds and things of that nature. And basically what they're looking at is some nighttime golf with the new villagers, with glow-in-the-dark balls.
Yes, I've done that a couple of times.
That. And so they're looking at doing that, and they're also looking at, they're having I believe it's the pros are playing. It's called Patriot Folds for Honor.
Right.
You've probably seen that advertised. That's a good thing for, you know, for us and for our publicity, whatnot. But it's also good for, you know, being patriotic and whatnot. So that's a good thing too.
Yes.
But let me talk about the golf advisory ad hoc committee, because what they did was they looked at all of our golf courses, and they saw that we are a morning community golfers.
Yes.
So we play everything in the morning. We go home, we eat our lunch, we take our naps. We don't go back out to the golf course or whatnot. And so what they're looking at is ways to get some people to start playing in the afternoon. You may have seen it out on the Connection, not the Connection, but the Telegram. They are basically going to come up with some new rates and schedule for playing afternoon golf.
To encourage that.
Yes, and so I encourage the people to pay attention to that, read it, give us feedback. A lot of people have. We like to have more, but they want to put this in place in early September and run it through November, and then again next spring to get information. What we're trying to do is get more people to shift from the morning or late morning, noon, to like after 2 o'clock. So they're really putting a lot of work into this, and it should hopefully open up and increase our revenue in that regard.
As long as the weather cooperates, that can be done easily.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an update on the golf department.
Are you tired yet?
No, I think we still have one more thing to do. We have long-range planning, which is doing a survey, and we have some, I'm sure, results are being calculated.
Well, Bart was beside himself. He was excited that so many people responded to the survey. You know, when you do surveys around here, people say, oh, they just kind of trash it or whatnot. But But this is a situation where we want you, our villagers, to tell us what you think this village ought to look like in the future. I'm not talking about next 5 years. I'm talking 6 to 10
To 20.
To 20, on past that. And so if you took the survey, that gets into things like, you know, and actually your honest opinion as to what you think. And a lot of people responded. I think he had like 1,757 responses, households responded, and that's great. Anytime you get a survey of that magnitude of responses, you've done something else. And so
that takes time to calculate it
it
and
does.
summarize.
And so a lot of good responses. They're in the process of going through and filtering it, and then they'll come back to the board probably within the next month and give us a report out on that. We will use that information, stuff like that, as we go forward, not only in the 5-year plan, but, you know, start making plans for outwards. And so, you know, if you're going to do something 6 years from now and you want to don't want to finance it, you want to finance it through a reserve, you have to start making the changes in the budget now. And so we need to know those kinds of things. And so we start making the changes to our budget now so that we can do these kind of things in 6 to 10 and 10 to 15 on out that far. So he did a great job. His committee, they worked tirelessly to get this done, and they did a great job. And we certainly appreciate all the villagers that responded. We appreciate their input very much.
All right. Good survey results, I think, are coming soon.
That's right.
Next up is political sign policy. Is this new?
Well, it is, because in the past we had in our blue book that political signs were not allowed.
Right.
But you know probably that the state of Tennessee passed legislation that said associations such as ours cannot ban political signs. They even went so far as to say what size the political signs can be. Oh. And so we took that legislation and updated our blue book. And basically, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but it was published in the Telegram. It's out on the website if you want to read the specifics. But basically, you can put one sign per candidate out in your yard.
Oh.
And it has to be back for the offset, 6 feet. It can't be any bigger than 4 square feet.
Oh.
And that's like a 2 by 2 or a 1 by 4 or something. It can't be any bigger than that by state law and our rule. And can't have like lights around it flashing.
Oh.
And so you just need to go
Can't
out there.
be obnoxious.
Now, obviously, we would prefer that no one put a sign up, but we can't say that because sometimes those signs aren't real attractive.
Right.
And so we would prefer, but we understand rights and we understand law. And so as a result, we brought our blue book up to date. And so I encourage, especially given in that we're going into the elections this fall, I would encourage people that want to put signs in their yard, if that's what they want to do, to read the blue book, make sure that they're in compliance with it, and hopefully we'll be all right. The board approved that 7-0, so it is now a policy that we have, and again, it's posted out on the website.
Well, good, Bruce.
Yep.
So I think we covered a lot today.
Well, we got one more thing.
One more thing. What is our one more thing?
Every 2 years we go into what we call honors awards.
Yes.
And honors awards are for the people that live in the village, not for our employees or not. So,
right.
All of our facilities around, you can pick up a form, but basically what it is if you think someone in the village, and we have a list of awards, and that was also published in the Telegram today. So read those and different categories of awards. If you feel like someone or an individual or a group is qualified for that award, we encourage you to submit it. We appointed a committee that will take those nominations, and compile them, and then make recommendations to the board. And that committee, 4 people will be on it. It would be Bill Hartman, long-term residents here, about 12 years or so, I think, and he was New Villagers president. He's been around. He's works with the Tellico Village players, and so he will chair that group.
Okay.
John Borderland, who was the HOA president last year, will
Right.
serve,
Good.
as well as Mary Kay Begordis. Mary Kay has been around a good long while too,
Right.
been involved in New Villagers and HOA, and she's also the impetus behind our kayak storage. So
Yes.
a lot of people know Mary Kay. She knows a lot of people, so
Yes.
she will be good for that too. And last but not least, we have a lady named Tracy Howman.
Yes.
She's a firefighter.
Yep.
Been around here a
Good
long
lady.
time. Good lady. And so those four working together, I'm quite sure that they will not only evaluate the proposal, the recommendations, but they will also plan the luncheon that will be in November.
Yes.
So they have a timetable laid out, got a lot of ground to cover in a couple, 2.5 months or so, but I believe that they're up to the task, and working with Mitzi and Beth Kaburka, they'll get it done, I'm quite
Yeah.
sure.
Well, it's a very important committee and a very important honors that we do recognize the people that contribute so much to make this a better village.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, where can they pick up the applications?
For
The honors.
Again, they will be at the Welcome Center. They should be
Okay.
at the restaurants.
Are they
No,
online?
I'm not quite sure, but I would think so. But I haven't looked out there. But I got the word that it's at all of our facilities.
Okay.
And so they can pick up a paper copy. But I will check to see if it's online, and if not, I think we should put it out there. But
Sure.
in all likelihood, as much as they're on top of this, I would think it would be.
I
But,
would think so too.
Yeah, but anyway,
Good. Good report, Bruce. We covered a lot of things, and I think all very positive.
good. One thing I want to remind everyone is normally we have our board workshop first Tuesday of the month, which would be next Tuesday. But given next Monday is Labor Day,
Right.
we have moved that to the following week. So if you come to the POA office to participate in the workshop,
We'll be there.
we won't be there.
But come back the following week.
We'd be glad to have you the next week.
Yes. Good. Well, thank you, Bruce,
You're
for
welcome.
joining us and giving us such good information. We are a production of Tellico Village Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us.